Hello YouTube, this is Kisa and I'm back here with another video, and we are going to still talk about Maleah Davis. Yeah, she was still on my mind. You guys, this is haunting me. I don't know about you, but this is truly haunting me. I am not sleeping. This was rough. This whole situation is crazy. I'm gonna do the breakdown of it. Basically, well, there's really no basically. Long story short, Maleah's from Houston. She has a mother and two dads, a stepdad and a biological dad. Her mother goes to see her father's funeral, someone's funeral in her family, and she comes back home and her child is missing. And the last person who's seen her child is her ex, or her boyfriend. Sorry. And it's all over the news. The child's been missing. The child has been abused before, and now the child is missing. And the mother leaves her child with the father, the stepfather. Not the real father, the stepfather. Now I found out some more information about this story. And turns out that people are feeling that she's involved in this. She knew she had some red flags. She knew she wasn't foretelling of what really happened. In the beginning, she was more like defending her boyfriend. She was defending him, and then he started to not come around her. And then that's when she felt like, she felt like something's not right, because he's not coming around her. He's acting guilty at this point. Never mind the argument that lead it up before. She says this after she already had conversation with him. When she got home, he wasn't there. When she got home from the funeral, he wasn't there. Okay, so she waited for him to come home. He finally came home. He told her what happened, and at that moment she believed him. Then he kind of just didn't give her much information. Wasn't coming around her that often. Never mind the argument they had before she had left. The red flags. The red flags are basically, he was already abusing her. He and her got into a fight before she left, and they were caught out. She said she wasn't going to be with him anymore. They called off their wedding or whatever. She left the ring. That's a red flag. Another red flag is that he was bringing her home from daycare. That's another red flag. Leaving his job early to go go and pick the baby up from daycare out of the blue. Giving the baby baths, that's a red flag. All these red flags, in the very beginning, when she was missing, nobody knew about these red flags. Now they know about the red flags. months later, she is now confessing that there were some red flags. So I went on the internet today, and I searched around, and there was an interview with her, and she said that the interviewer asked her, he asked her if you trusted this man to watch over your daughter while you go see about your family members. And she said that she trusts this man. She said she had, at that interview, she said at that time she had no reason not to trust him. And she trusted him. But just earlier, a couple months earlier, 6 months, they just had problems with the Child Protection Agency. They come in there to take the baby. That happened. The baby had brain surgery because of an injury. That happened. These are things that she knew for sure at that time when that interviewer person, which was, I don't know, like maybe a couple days after, or maybe a week after the child. This is so weird. The child, actually, it took them maybe a week for her to file. That's another red flag. It's just it's so much layers to this. I'm trying to keep this together. Okay. So the interviewer asked her, "You didn't think anything was wrong at that point when you left your to go see about your family for a funeral? You didn't think that was weird, or to leave your child with him?" And she said, "No." So all the red flags right then and there, she's already said she's sticking with it. She didn't have no problem. She didn't see anything wrong with leaving her child. See, the thing is this child was whooped on way before all of this, before she got murdered. I believe she's murdered. I do. They said that the forensics found evidence in the apartment. So if there's evidence in the apartment with her DNA all in there in the apartment, possibly blood. Okay. We gotta call a thing a thing. We gotta call a thing a thing. That little girl is not here anymore. And the mother, back to the interviewer, asked her, "Did you have any reason to think that you couldn't have left your child with this man?" And she said no. She said no. She didn't have no reason to feel like she shouldn't have left her child with him, with the man. With the interviewer that she had, which wasn't that long ago. After all that's happened, the brain surgery and all the allegations that this man, that she said later on, the red flags. When she had that interview, she said she didn't see anything wrong with it. I feel like this lady's involved in some way. I think she's involved in some kind of way. I mean, that child has had a horrible year of being hurt and everything. And you decide, okay, I got to go to a funeral. For what? What do you need to be there at the funeral? That's important, that your child, who's just had all these things going on with him, You feel like, oh no, that's not as important as going to this funeral to take care of these family members. That she has nothing to bring to these people. She has no resources, no money, and she feels obligated to just leave her child and go handle this over here, a funeral. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Sorry. I call bull. I just don't know how to get around it. I call bull. I don't believe it. I think this is crap. How can anybody believe this? This is not, none of this is true. She's full of it. She is full of it. I heard her say she didn't think nothing wrong when she left to go to the funeral. After all the things that happened, you still didn't get any. And then even before she went to the funeral, she got in an argument with him while she was back wherever she was on the phone with him, and they were arguing about him sending inappropriate pictures with somebody else. You argue about that? This lady didn't want this baby. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the breakdown of what I think. This is allegedly, but this is how I feel. Okay. Man, it's getting on my nerves. Okay. This is how I feel. This baby had to get brain surgery, right? So she got to have all the special medication. She probably, her functions are probably not normal. She might be a little slower. She might be one of them people that you have to constantly take care of for the rest of your life. Special needs. Yeah. I don't think they wanted her. See, there's signs that they didn't want her from the very beginning. Even the father didn't want her. I'm sorry. He is nowhere around. He says he got questions for the Darren, I think his name is. He's got questions for the stepdad. But even so, Father, if you have questions, how did it even get to the point where she got to leave out of town, and again you leave your baby with the stepdad? But now you got questions? I don't think neither one of them wanted that child. I think Dad's shown signs that he didn't care to really be taking care of that little girl in some way, and I think the mother showed signs, and this idiot was just dumb enough and crazy enough to just kind of do their dirty work for them. Sorry. That's how I feel. I mean, you don't have to tell somebody, hey, will you murder my child? You just set this situation up for them to just do it, and then they do it. You get around the right kind of person that you know that could probably get there, and they do it. And maybe in her mind, she didn't plan it out for it to happen, but I think she knew that it could. I think she knew it could. I think the husband knew that the biological father possibly knew that it could happen. They've already tried to make all these attempts to hurt this child. They've already done it. And this idiot just went on and just, took care of it, did the whole thing. Yep. I think she knew it was possible that he was going to murder that child. Is it Munchausen syndrome when, like, your child gets hurt and then you get a lot of attention for it? And maybe when they got that first thing that happened, they got a lot of attention off of that. And then they were like, we're getting a lot of attention for this. And they got GoFunds out there for them for this. People are actually helping them financially for murdering their child, abusing their child, and then murdering their child. Sorry, the mom is involved. I feel that way. It's allegedly. It's just my opinion. But I really feel like she's involved. I do. And then even his side of the family, the stepdad. I hate calling him the stepdad. He is not a stepdad. The thug she had living in her house, the hoodlum, the trash. I feel like he was, I don't know, maybe he was not smart. Like maybe he was a little slow to really think he could get away with this. But I think when she had the problems that would happen if you have brain surgery and you're young like that and you're not able to develop fully, I think they didn't want them problems no more. I don't think they want to take care of that little girl no more. They already hated her. Clearly they hated her. The mother must have hated her. To put her in that kind of situation like that, that's pure hate. Now she says, oh, he was abusing her and he was molesting the child, wanting to give her a bath, bringing her home early from daycare, beating on her. Those weren't red flags. And she just keep crying and shaking her head. She's sick. She's a sick person. And now she doesn't have any of her kids, but she can't talk about that. Her lawyer, the activist, I guess he's trying to do the best he can for what he got to work with, but he just nailed it when in the coffin when he said that she came out and said all these red flags. And then the interviewer asked her if there was red flags or anything to show that it was okay to leave that man with her baby, and she said it right then and there. She didn't see anything wrong with it. After all the stuff that's been going on when he's been around her, she didn't see nothing wrong with it. So she's still trying to protect him in some kind of way, or trying to protect herself, but she's really not protecting herself. She's making herself look like a jackass. She's really looking like a serious jackass out here. She doesn't see it. She's an idiot. You guys, when you see the pictures of this little girl after she had brain surgery, you see her pictures with her dad. I guess her dad had put the pictures up. But even so, he didn't even try to protect her. This little girl. And even after her death, and I believe she's gone. Ugh. Don't want to believe it. I believe she's gone. The father's nowhere around. He doesn't go. He doesn't do any of the search. He's not doing interviews or doing anything. He's just kind of sitting there waiting for the mom to kind of, and he wants to have a conversation with the stepdad. That man took out their kid. And the kicker is, the interviewer asked her, is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to say to Darren? I think his name is Darren, stepdad. And after all this is done, and she doesn't know where her child is. She doesn't know. That's what she's saying. She doesn't know where her child is. But she says, I have nothing to say to him. Come on, you guys. If you want to know where your child is, right? And this man here that you've been spending all your life with, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. Who knows how long she's been with this dude? Sounds really whack. let's just say she's been with him for 2 or 3 years. Let's give her that. He got all the answers. And you are close to him. He's got all the answers of where your child is. Think about it. You live with somebody. Women, when we're with our man and we want to know something about our man, any old thing, we are going to ask them questions, and then we'll ask them another way, around another question, to another question, to another question, because we need to know the answers. We know he know the answers, and we just got to keep asking him until we get the right answer. But we gonna ask him. And she said she has no words for him. Why you don't have no words for him? How come you don't have no words for him? You have no words. He got all the answers. The TV don't have the answers. The interviews, YouTube, none of these things. He's the one that's got the answers. But you don't have no answers for him? You have no answers for him, sis? None? You have no questions? You have no questions for him? You have no questions for him? The guy said, hey, is there anything you would want to ask him? And she said, no, I don't have nothing. I don't have no questions for him. He's got all the answers. I got questions. I got questions. Don't you have questions? We all have questions. Where's the child? How to get this bag? Why are you doing this to Maleah? Can you please tell where Maleah is so we can give her a proper burial? She got no questions. She ain't got no questions. She don't want to ask him nothing. Is it because you already know, sis? Do you already know? Sisters don't. Come on now. Come on now. You mean to tell me that his woman has no questions? We ask questions about anything over and over again. Sis, come on. You got nothing? You think the answer is all of this? No, it's with him. It's with him. And you know him better than anybody. You know when he's lying. You know when he's telling the truth. You know when he's scared. You know his shortcomings. You know what he's insecure about. You know all of that. And you know how to ask the right question to get the answer you need. But maybe you don't need no question. You don't need no answers. Maybe you know it all. Maybe you know it all. She must know. She must know. She don't need to ask him nothing because she knows it all. She knows all of it. I got nothing to say to him. He's got all the answers. Let's just say that even if he did go through what he said he went through, the details of everything, he's got all the answers. He's got it. She got people out there looking for her baby, having all these people go through the trouble when I think she know what's going on. She should be in his ear, constantly in his ear. Even if she has to say, you know what, I'm going to go along with it, babe. I'm going to do what you say. Yeah, you did what you had to do, babe. Let me, it just kind of happens like this, babe. Even if she got to play it on that kind of way, she got to be in his ear to find out what happened to her child. How could she rest? How could she rest if she doesn't know? How could she rest? I wouldn't even have time for no interviews with nobody. I would only have time for me and him, and we gonna talk. We gonna talk, we gonna talk, we gonna talk, we gonna talk, we gonna talk. Until he confessed, and then I could get some kind of closure of where my child is. But she don't have no questions for him? None? When he come home late at night, she got 32 questions about that. Where were you? Well, how long were you gone? Well, how come you didn't do this? You didn't pick up the phone? You didn't do that? You didn't do this? You didn't do that? You had no questions? None? 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 Where your baby is just not important to her. It's not important to her. She don't give a damn where her baby is. She feels like it's just best not to know. She didn't want to know that he could do something that vicious. So she has just turned she didn't even want to know. She just wanted to be in La La Land. Just like when the baby was getting abused, she just wanted to be in La La Land. She didn't want to know. She didn't want to know or grasp the severity of what was going on. She didn't want to know. But I feel she already know. That's just my opinion. I feel like she already know. Women have too many questions for just trivial things to be like, this question here, where my child is, and what is it, arrogant that she doesn't want to talk to the man that did this to? There's no ego. I will give you my life. You just tell me what happened so I can go and bury my child. Because I already know you murdered her. She wouldn't have been around this man. And she can't even like do what women can do to get the man to talk. She can. Her questions is not on the internet, on these interviews and all that. No, it's with him. It's with him. That's where it is. It's with him. She has no questions. No, nothing. Like, it was almost like he had cheated or something, and if somebody said, well, don't you want to know who the lady was? Then you say, oh, I don't have no questions. I don't have nothing for him. I don't want to know nothing. Okay, I get it. You get that? But if somebody knows where your child is, and you don't have no questions for that? You don't have no questions for that? The questions are out with the media, having an interview. She could get a confession from him. She know that man. She been living with that man. She's been with that man. She can get a confession from him. Even if she had to like go into some deep psychological trip to get him to talk. And we all know what that is. She said she don't have no questions for him. That was more telling than anything. That interview with her lawyer and this older guy on the internet. She said, I don't have nothing to say to him. You have nothing to say to him? It's almost like she's pissed off about the whole thing with the internet, him being involved with supposedly other men on the internet. But even that, like, she didn't speak up on that until like way later on. She didn't speak up on that till like, when did she speak up on that? First, when it, maybe like 2 weeks or so, I don't know. Too long. She said she ain't got nothing to say to him. And women just don't rock like that. Women always got questions. We got questions about every little thing. She has no questions about, and he's got all the answers. I don't even know what kind of game we playing here. He got all the answers. And she know him. She know what he's capable of doing. We all know what our husbands and boyfriends are capable of doing. We have gut feelings. We have this thing in our stomach. And everybody has one. She didn't want to take care of that baby because that baby was going to be special needs. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to take care of it. And she wants to get sympathy And the the father, he's a piece of crap too. Sorry, he is. He's a piece of crap because to see what all that was going on, and he was just like, well, they gave the baby back to them. They gave the baby back to him. They took the baby away, and they gave it back to her, to the mom. Now she doesn't have any of her kids, but she needs to go to jail. She needs to go to jail. It seems like she's trying to keep herself away from this clown. And I guess his family's been trying to protect him. So she's been trying to protect him. Because in the very beginning, she was defending him and everything. I'm telling you, the red flags, we didn't hear about the red flags until like around Mother's Day. That's when we heard about the red flags. Till it got to be like, somebody going to court. Then we hear about the red flags with her. His family has been trying to cover for him. And all they can keep saying is, oh, she was definitely out of town when it happened. Yeah, but she's seen all the other crap that happened before. And but her whole thing was, I just wasn't there. I wasn't there. So she gets a pass because she wasn't there. Although she set the whole scenery for the child to get hurt like this, to get murdered. I know people are like, well, we don't know if she got murdered. I think people need to get their head out of the damn sand. Get it out. Dig it out. Get it out of the sand. Stop it. Just like we didn't know she got abused. It's like a whole lot of we didn't know. We didn't know. The red flags are right there. Well, we didn't know. Giving people the benefit of the doubt. So what are we going to do? Just let her go and murder another child? This is so sick. Poor Maleah. I got questions. And then people are giving GoFund money to this family for what? For what? You don't have to pay for a barrier because she's already been buried. He already took care of that. How are they supposed to prosper over the child that died, that they murdered? Who was giving money? For what? She probably didn't even have to pay for a brain surgery. I bet the government paid for the government assistance paid for the brain surgery. They didn't even pay for the brain surgery. Who are you kidding? I'm sorry. I keep going in and out. This is just awful. Thanks for watching my channel. I'm going to keep a real close eye on this. Like, subscribe, share, be care. Thank you.